Good morning, everybody. This is going to be an update, kind of what's happened and what's going on and what's forecasted for Tropical Storm Florence as it continues to make its way across South Carolina very, very slowly in the coming days. Good morning, everybody. So, now I've made my way back up to Raleigh late yesterday, last night, and was able to get here really late. And most of the hotels in the Raleigh area are sold out and full capacity from all the people evacuating the coastal areas. But currently today, we have tornado watch is in effect. We have this is a new MD just came out about 45 minutes ago, talking about the tropical storm Florence inland now here, just slowly pulling to the west northwest at about 2 miles an hour, very slowly. And as these bands continue to come on shore, they're going to produce small tornadoes. There's been multiple tornado warnings south of Raleigh in the last couple hours. We're in a tornado watch continues. Here's a current satellite picture, and this just shows that the tropical storm now is over southeast South Carolina. It's moving west at about 2 miles an hour. These are very intense thunderstorms, lots of thunderstorms, rain rates of 2 to 4 inches an hour, continue to train over parts of North Carolina. That's going to be the big story in the coming days. It's the big story now. It's also going to be bigger in the coming days. And that is the massive amount of water rain from Tropical Storm Florence. We've had anywhere upwards of 28 inches of rain southeast of Raleigh. We've had several counties, about 11 counties this morning that were in that were in flood emergencies. We have a number of counties under flood warnings as well. One of the things I want to focus on really for this update, which is really the story going forward here, it's going to be the river forecast, and this is on the National Weather Service page. And you can get this at the National Weather Service Advanced Hydrologic Prediction Service. So basically what it does is it looks at the current river forecast and what's going to forecast is going to happen. And what you can see is right now the pink color here, purple color, these are already rivers that are in major flood stage, which means that they're out of their banks and people are taking action. We've got a number that are in the moderate and some that are minor, but what happens is over the course of days, these are going to get, there's going to be more and more. The real heavy rain, the 28-inch rain was kind of like from the Jacksonville area, and then it kind of went the counties just southeast of here, up Jackson, this whole New Bern area. This area right here received tremendous amounts of water. A lot of areas received 6 to 10, but this area right here received, Raleigh on down to the coast here, received about 20 to 28 inches of water. So if you look at any of these flow gauges, and it's really this simple. You just log in and you just click on them here, and it brings us up to here's Cape Fear at the Lockport area. And it kind of tells you, like right now we're at 18.74 current time, 12 noon Saturday, and it tells you what the forecast is, and it does accumulate. As the rain continues, basically it looks at the water flowing into the river and makes a forecast of what that height's going to be. So you can see right now it's at 14, over about 18 feet, and it goes up to about 28 feet. So it's going to about, it's going to go into major flood stage, and it's forecasted to be top off near 30 feet. This is just one river. And I'm going to go over several of these because it's important on what's going to happen the next couple of days. If we go up here, up to the northeast here, where they've got a little bit higher up at Cape Fear, the northeast Cape Fear River near Burgo, you can see right now they're at about 9 feet. Their forecasts go to 22 foot. They're going to be in record flood stage in a lot of these rivers across North Carolina, and not because currently the water that's already in the rivers, but also what's potentially going to be coming in the coming days as far as rubble, the continued water. 16 foot currently going to forecast of 25 feet. So you can do this around North Carolina, but that's creating another whole set of massive issues, and this is unfolding as I talk right now this morning. This is a new problem, and the new problem is and this is changing literally by the hour. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. I listened to the governor about an hour ago, do a live update here from on the local TV stations across the state. And the governor's words, Roy's words were, it's going to get worse in the coming days than it is right now. The wind is dying down across the state. The rain will slowly, it's going to be bad today and tomorrow, but it'll slowly, the rain impacts will slowly go away. But the big problem is going to be the flooding on the rivers, the creeks, the streams. And as those continue to rise from this massive area that's had water, lots of water, we talked about this for days ago. Just this morning, we have Interstate 40, both northbound and southbound, is now closed near Warsaw. a lot of the secondary roads along this area are closing, both northbound and southbound. I-95 is now closed northbound and southbound. These are major interstates through North Carolina with, tens if not hundreds of thousands of people a day traveling on these roads. These are like south and east and southwest of Raleigh. More and more road closures are popping up, and as these rivers go out of their banks, like here's near Burgalow, this is already closed. This is a 12:30 update, just updated a few minutes ago. Roads water rushing across the road now, and these road closures, they're popping up all over the state of North Carolina, okay, and as well as South Carolina. So these are updating, and here's northwest of Jacksonville. I've got, road closures here. If we click on this highway, you've got a little road construction there, northbound and southbound. But this is changing by the hour. Here's roads. This area, it looks like near Hobart, the roads are closed. The roads have now closed in that area. So these are popping up. So what's happening here in Raleigh this morning, I made myself up to Raleigh last night, I was telling you. And I went down to, I slept about 15 hours and went down to get some breakfast this morning. And it was packed. And listened to the people that evacuated all from the coast, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, met people from all over the coastal area this morning at the hotel. And people obviously want to get back to their houses, and we understand that. I understand that. But most of the coastal areas doesn't have power, is out all on the coastal areas, and Will Inland too. I didn't find electric until last night, and I don't know what it is today. It's pretty far north. It was way up here by Smithfield, Wilson. This general area is where I found power last night to get gas. So the problem is, without power down here and the roads are closing, more roads are closing, it's going to be very difficult to get back to your houses and places. Duke Energy, the spokesman for them in the last hour, said that they got 20,000 linemen on standby coming in, but they got to wait for the wind to die down. The other issue is they're trying to navigate the high water like everybody else is. The issue is that they said a minimum of 7 to 14 days to get power on. That's if they are able to get to those areas, and the flooding is going to be a big problem. The big problem in Wilmington, and I'm going to talk about Wrightsville Beach because I saw the mayor do an update a few minutes ago on this, is that Wilmington, there's a lot of trees down. The actual damage from the hurricane, and as far as structural damage to houses and buildings, is minimal, in my opinion. And I didn't get a chance to see everything, but most structures are fine unless they had a tree fall on the house. There's obviously some mobile homes. There's a little bit more structural damage to houses and buildings as you get up toward on US 17 up here in the Holly Ridge and Hampstead area, where the winds were higher in this northeast quadrant, 100, 115. That's kind of where I wrote out the hurricane as it was coming ashore. So this area has a little bit more structural damage, not massive, but a little bit more, a few more roofs off, a few more mobile homes that were torn up or destroyed, a few more billboard signs down, a few more telephone poles down, big trees up in this area, 2 to 3 foot diameter trees, lots of them across the roadway and power lines. About 15 minutes ago, I just saw for the first pictures out of the Topsail, Surf City, and North Topsail Beach area. I saw just a couple pictures and video from the police department, and what I saw is that they didn't show no houses. I don't know the extent of damage out there from storm surge and the waves, but what I did see is I saw anywhere from 1 to 3 foot of water covering a lot of the barrier islands. Some of that's fresh water, some of that's storm surge, some of that's overwater, some of that's high tide. It's a combination of things. So, I'm not saying everybody got water out here. I'm not saying everybody's house got water. All those houses are on stilts. But there's a lot of water on the barrier islands, 1 to 3 feet on the pictures and video I saw. A lot of the exit ramps, once you're on the bridges and overpasses, you try to get down, and there's water at the bottom of the exit ramps, so you can't go there. So a lot of the islands are still impassable. Wrightsville mayor, about an hour ago, said that they fared fairly well on the telephone poles and infrastructure in Wrightsville Beach. There is some houses that did take structural damage from some winds. Didn't give a number, just said there's some structures that took some structure failures. There is some water. The beach took a beating on the sand area and the beach areas. He did say that he feels pretty confident that the power will be up because a lot of the power poles are up. That the power will be restored maybe in 3 to 5, 7 days is kind of what he alluded to. But again, a lot of that has to do water and inland flooding. If the fresh water, if the crews can get there to get the lines back up. He said all the lines are torn down, but they've got telephone poles are up, so they don't have to rebuild the infrastructure. So he seemed pretty positive. I will tell you that one of the emergency officials in Wilmington on the press conference, again, this was live about an hour ago. One of the Wilmington emergency managers' exact words were, to the state and federal officials, they want the state and federal people to get to Wilmington as quick as possible today with supplies and emergency generators and things, because they're worried that a lot of the roads into Wilmington in the coming hours and days will be impassable, and the supplies will not be able to be in there, at least be driven in. They may have to do it by helicopter and things like that, which I'm sure that's going to happen. So that was kind of a message that a dire message that they need to get supplies down there before all the roads become impassable. That's kind of my takeaway from the press conferences today. So overall, the wind impact was less because we went from Cat 4, Cat 3, and then finally down to a 2 and a 1 as it approached the coast. We did have, I believe, 105-mile-an-hour wind gusts at Wilmington Airport, and a lot of the wind damage is more coastal and then inland right along Route 17. I just talked to another storm chaser this morning, Aaron Risby. He was in the Steeds Ferry area in the Back Bay area where this is inland flooding, freshwater as well as storm surge as well as high tide. And he said there's some houses in this general area along the bay here, Chadwick Bay, and the back areas that were flooding. Waters were going into houses. Even this morning at 11 o'clock, he said that there was water coming into the houses about an hour and a half ago. He just left there. So that's kind of my 30,000-foot overview of what's going on. Like I said, the tropical storm Florence will slowly pull away and weaken and become a depression probably by tomorrow as it lifts slowly to the west-northwest. But the inland flooding, freshwater flooding, the rain, we're in tornado watches today. But that's going to be the big story in the coming days, is basically the river flooding. So again, to recap, if you did evacuate and you're trying to get back to your house, the National Weather Service has this page here, and it's on the National Weather Service site. I clicked on I believe it was Raleigh or Wilmington site, and you go to river forecast, and it brings you up this stuff, so you can look at the current river forecast, what it is now, what it's forecasted to be, and a lot of these are going to have near record or over record flooding. So some of these areas are going to have the worst flooding they've ever had in their history as far as records go. So keep that in mind. So that's kind of a short update of what's going on. This is what I've seen, and I'm safe back in Raleigh. I've got a business meeting tomorrow, or excuse me, Monday, and I'm at Raleigh. I'm supposed to fly out tomorrow, and I'm out of here. But I believe Wilmington Airport is still closed. Don't know how long it's going to be closed. I know that there's no power down there, so it could be several days or weeks before that becomes operational again. That's kind of my take. So anyway, if you have loved ones, I'd probably, again, if it was me, I wouldn't want to go back down the coast if power's going to be out another 14 days. That's from Duke Energy about an hour ago. And I mean, these rivers rising, I would say if you're near creeks or rivers or areas that do flood, I would not want to be caught in that, plus no power. And there's no gas down here, folks. There's no power, there's no gas. So even if you can make it down there, getting around in the coming days is going to be virtually very, very difficult, not impossible in many, many, many areas. So that's it. So that's kind of a quick take. Thank you guys for all your support last couple of days and last couple of nights. And we really appreciate all the comments and all the support. And like I said, I'm safely back in Raleigh, exhausted after being up for about 36 straight hours. But I'm safe. All my storm chaser friends are safe down there. But we appreciate everybody's support. Thank you for everything. I'm going to let the call go now, but in this particular stream. But anyway, thank you for everything. We really appreciate everybody's support. Thank you so much.